Welcome to the Onyeka Nwelue show. Today in the studio we have Sewela Langeni, director or owner of independent bookstore Full Circle Capital, right?
Full Circle Capital, yeah.
Are you able to tell me what year it started?
In 2017, September 2017, that's when the bookshops was opened.
I'm sure because you've been making a lot of money, that's why you've been able to do this from 2017.
Lots of money, not in books.
Really?
Just a lot of passion and hard work and support from some loyal followers. I think that's what's kept us afloat.
Which books do you think sell more than the others in the bookstore?
What sells more is some classics, like Steve Biko, I Write What I Like. Chimamanda does very well all the time.
You don't call Chimamanda's classic?
Well, no, I'm saying classics like Biko.
Okay.
And then Chimamanda that does very well because I think she's more mainstream. And then there's also some indies that do very well, like Dudu Busani Dube. Yeah. So there's some Ghana Must Go does very well. It's always sold out. Taisi, yeah, and other classics like Chinua Achebe, Franz Fanon. So those do very well.
Do you read most of these books that you sell?
Yes, I do.
So you read the Franz Fanon?
No, not Fanon. So I don't read that type.
Why?
I think I'm less of a political reader. I'm more of a fiction. So I enjoy a lot of Chimamanda. Okay. So I've read all her work. I've read Ghana Must Go. I've just finished, and I read a lot of local stuff. So I've just finished Angela Makola, Blessed Girl. I read Sunyati. I read Family Affair now, which is the new one. So Franz Fanon, Biko, I know the ethos, but I haven't delved into it. I struggle to read books that are heavily academic as well and heavy into the English. So
the criteria is that as a bookseller, you must be an avid reader, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So who are your favorite authors? Do you have something like that?
Yes. My favorite author is Chimamanda.
Wow.
And Angela Makola, definitely. And I also recently I enjoyed a lot of local biographies. So I like a lot of Dr. Judy Dlamini's books. So the Susan Ngasana crew. So she does a lot about corporate South Africa, how women went up the ladder. I've enjoyed books like Nolita Fakude's book, Boardroom Dancing. So I also enjoy that piece where it shows you, almost gives you like the lens of what happens in South African boardrooms in corporate. Yeah.
And how often do you host book readings?
So before COVID, we did it monthly. Just now we've started again. We had our first one, I think, in October, where we had a lady that was launching her book. So we hope to resume back to the schedule of doing one adult one a month and one kiddies one a month.
Awesome. Yeah, the kiddies, going back to the kiddies.
Yes.
What is your take on children's literature?
I think it's growing and it's following the right direction, especially African kiddies literature. Because remember, for a long time we were bombarded with Disney and all of that, and stories where children didn't really see much of themselves.
Yeah, Harry Potter and the rest of it.
Absolutely. So now, and Seven Dwarfs, all of that. But now, now it's taking the right direction. I mean, ever since I've been at Book Circle Capital, the types of books that are coming out are just wowing me. So talking about diversity.
What made you start a bookstore instead of starting up maybe a restaurant where you make money every minute?
So I didn't really start it. My husband started it.
Okay.
So his name is Sewela Langeni. He's from the Northern Cape. The reason why he started it is in the Northern Cape. I don't know if you've ever been to that part of the world. Nothing happens there. So books is an escape,
Wow.
So through books. So he read a lot growing up.
Is he a writer?
No, but I'm sure he's got a book in his head somewhere. He just needs to sit and write it. So that's why he started it. The access and having a place where we can celebrate our stories, African stories.
When you say African stories, what do you mean?
I mean stories that talk about things that happen on the continent. I mean stories that show people.
So do you sell books in Igbo language, Yoruba?
No.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean that term is broad though. I mean if you're gonna say African,
that's what I'm saying.
I guess that's what you're challenging me on. No, so mainly in English, but by authors from all over the continent.
Before we came on air, because usually when I come on this show, I always want the guests to have an idea that, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. But they always think that I'm going to be like that lecturer who will say, this is the topic.
Yes.
No, but that's not the issue. So now, do you think there are more writers writing for children? And how do you think they're being sold to children?
Yes, there are more and more writers writing for children. How they're being sold?
Yeah.
I think most of us assume what we think children should be reading about, and it's based on what we see. Like this point I made around representation. So we're writing a lot more stories like that because we want our children. So I'm seeing a lot more parents writing. I'm seeing grandparents writing, and they could be different places. They could be academics, journalists, whatever, psychologists. The other day, a pediatrician came, also has a book about the children that get to wear spectacles very early in life. So they're sold based on topics that they see are challenging children or are facing children, and maybe why not read about it in a book? Or maybe help parents to have that conversation through a book. Yeah.
What is the distribution challenges? Getting books from publishers.
Sure.
It's difficult, right?
Yeah, it is. As an indie, it's very difficult.
So do you end up paying for books before?
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. So you have to prove yourself first. So before you must pay for cash for them before.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they'll give you an account.
That is why this is the Onyeka Nwelue show, because I started up my own bookstore thing.
Yeah.
And initially, I went to some publishers, and then they threw me to Protea distributors.
Ah, definitely.
And then Protea tells me, "Oh, we can't give you book because you have not been selling books."
Track record.
Yes.
And then it's like you have to have debt for them to trust you.
So I ended up paying amount of money, but then also there is also a certain level of freedom that you have when you pay for these books. So nobody calls you and says, "What's up? Have you sold our books?
Yes.
Give us the money."
Yes.
How do you feel when distributors come calling for sales invoice and stuff? How do you feel about that?
So, but luckily because I'm small and I mainly deal with them with cash, they don't have to come and ask me what's going on because it's my stock. I bought it.
So you must have a lot of money.
Not really. I keep my quantities very low. So you should come to my store. I keep my quantities very low because my store is still very small. It's still growing. So I'll buy like 5 copies as a start, and then I sell it. Then I go back, and then I keep my account with them very low. So I pay every month and what I owe, the threshold. So they give you the 30 and 60-day option.
Okay, so before you started, you took loan from somewhere to start, or what?
So no, my husband started because he was retrenched. So he used that like severance package at his job to start. That was the capital to start the place. But for now, it's been a little bit sustaining itself, but still not like to a way you're saying making a lot of money. No, so now you know that there's no lot of money in books.
I know, because sometimes you get to sell books maybe once in 1 week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. You can have 3-4 days in a row where there's no sale. Weekends are good, and especially in our location. During the week,
are you worried that you might go bankrupt?
I have a day job.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's not the bookstore.
No. So I have a day job, and hopefully my husband will also get his day job after the retrenchment. But I don't think it's something that now I can go into it full time. If I was in it full time, I would be concerned about that because there's bonds, there's children, there's.
How many children?
I have 4.
Okay, so
yeah.
They also read from the bookstore.
Yes, they do. So they rent a crowd for me when I have events as well. You know?
So do you choose what they read, or they choose them by themselves?
The small ones I choose. The 6 and 8-year-old, I'll recommend something. But the teenagers, they choose what they want.
Do you think that they feel a little bit forced or persuaded to do what they don't want to do when they're
there? The teenagers especially. They would choose anything else other than reading. It's still and it's kids that I didn't raise. They came to stay with us when they were already old, So this culture of reading is something that they need to just get into. The smaller ones, which are mine and grew up in the house, it's easy to pick up a book and just say, but even then the time span is not too long, so there is that element of feeling forced. And when they asking me for a word, I'm like, if you were reading you would know that, because that would help you in your vocabulary. So there is the element of
fantastic. What plans do you have for you must have a share for children's literature, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so are there a lot of writings by African authors?
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. I think maybe 30, 40 solid titles. I would like to have a little bit more. I'd like to have a bit more genre. Like most parents, especially boy children, they'll complain that most books are talking about hair.
Oh.
They're talking about skin color. Yes. There's been a lot of books about hair because of Afro, how to maintain it. Because girls are confronted about this issue of beauty and hair already.
I didn't grow up reading anything like that.
Seriously?
Yeah, I read Cinderella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's stuff from Enid Blyton.
Absolutely, Disney and all of that.
Yeah, do you still sell Enid Blyton?
No.
Perfect. We're going to go on break. When we come back, we continue, please. Welcome back to the Onyeka Nwelue show. We still have Sewela Langeni, beautiful soul, and you're making me happy, you know that?
Am I?
Yes. So, when you go to a bookstore, you have all these categories, tags.
No.
Okay. You don't have that?
No, deliberately for you to just linger and have a look. I was thinking about it. Maybe next year I'll introduce it because we're getting a lot more poetry. We're getting a lot more where people are being specific. So
yes.
I'm inclined to start organizing it. But initially I just thought, let me just put it in. I want you to spend time in there and see these titles.
Do you have more than 10,000 books?
I haven't counted. No, 10,000 is a lot, but definitely more than 5,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Are there days when you are happy with sales?
There are. Weekends, Saturdays, Fridays are good. Days when I have events are good, because then it's amazing how many people still don't know that we're even there. So when they're there, they get excited.
Can you tell the viewers the location?
We are at 27 Boxes in Melville.
Melville? That's why I'm trying to set up a restaurant.
Really?
Yes. So you restaurant? My neighbor. Yeah. I want to sell Nigerian food there.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you eat there?
Yes, I would.
What Nigerian food have you eaten?
But what would you? Okay, I've eaten them in books. Chimamanda writes a lot about fufu and all of that, and and I read Son of the House earlier this year. She talks a lot about food as well.
Onyeka Nwelue.
Yes, so she writes a lot about books as well, about food.
I would tell her.
Yeah, so I feel like.
Oh, you read her
And she's very responsive. I think I said something on Facebook and she responded. She wanted to know, how am I doing? I was like, okay, that's weird.
Wow, yeah, she's a very cool. She was at the film festival with us in Cape Town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm really happy you are having this connection with Nigeria through literature.
Yeah.
But then there is a very famous Nigerian book, Things Fall Apart.
Yes.
What is your opinion about Things Fall Apart? Being called the great African.
I read it so long ago, and I'm still amazed at how much it still sells. Yes. The story of Okonkwo. Yeah. And I've almost evolved from it. Because I remember a different Nigeria from there to what I'm reading now from newer Nigerian authors. So to be honest, I don't want to lie and make up some clever answer about it, because I read it a long time ago. Yeah. But I do remember it being quite dated compared to what I'm reading now.
That was pre-colonial time.
Yes. Yeah. So and I'm enjoying now what I'm seeing about new Nigeria, where I'm seeing Chimamanda in Americana talks about more Nigerians leaving to the States. Yeah. And the lady that owns Son of the House, what's her name again? Onyeka Nwelue talks about more of Cheluchi. That's it, because I remember her name was very catchy. Cheluchi talks about more like the compounds, the money, because she tells the story from a maid that comes into this life of very rich Nigerian families. So I just remember that Things That Fall Apart was very old school. I should go back to it.
Right.
Because it still sells. It's shocking how it still sells. Yeah. It's one of the...
What drew you to Chimamanda
Adichie? She's very... I think her feminist stance are very... resonate with me. But not in a way that we don't need men. But in a way that let's celebrate women and elevate.
You have notes you've made. What are they about?
You said
we
were going to talk about who's writing children's books.
Okay, tell me who is writing.
And I am very copious note person. Okay. so I just made. I said my short answer is everyone is writing.
Okay. I see you have long stuff written in grey.
Just know that this is a draft one. This is more the stuff.
Okay, tell me what you have. Tell me.
You're making me choose this.
Tell me.
So the short answer is everyone is writing children's books, what I've noticed. And parents, grandparents, even children are writing children's books.
Is there a particular way to write for children?
Yes, without being condescending and assuming that you know what they're going through. I've seen some books where I feel like a child is not going to relate to this because I read to my kids and I hear... and I think also make them wonder... because they get a lot of TV now. They get a lot of gadgets. So that space where the imagination gets to stretch, I think that's how you win them over. Yeah.
I'm more interested if you, as a bookseller, have a particular... You said that before, less politics.
Yeah.
And that's why you're not reading Frantz Fanon.
Yes.
But don't you think it's important that you go to Frantz Fanon?
It is. No, I know. It is. But... I find that I have to be in a certain frame of mind to read like a Frantz Fanon book. I've opened it. I've gone through a couple of pages. I've read the back. But I should. You're right. My husband reads more of that stuff, and we've got them.
I like Frantz Fanon.
You do?
Yeah, a lot. That was.
I could see that you're ahead. So tell me, what is he about then?
About Frantz Fanon?
Yeah. Give me pointers.
I read. Black Skin,
the skins,
White Mask.
Yeah.
I have all his books in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think that his arguments are same as mine.
Okay.
But then he uses the term black.
Okay.
But I don't use the term black. I call the Europeans pink people.
Okay.
And when I call them pink people, they get angry.
Yeah.
So they don't like having conversations with me. Not like they hate me, but they want to be called white. And I want to know why they are so fascinated
with the white.
Yeah, being called white.
Yeah.
And for Africans don't think there's anything wrong with being called black.
Black, yeah.
But then I practice a kind of religion called voodoo.
Yeah.
In voodoo, black represents misfortune.
Yeah.
The symbolism of black is everything that is bad.
Dark.
Yeah. So in voodoo, when you're burning a black candle, you're probably about to entrap somebody, kill
like a
them,
spell or something.
Yeah, cast a spell on them.
Okay.
And then that reflects in how I think about what they have called my skin, which is not even black. My skin is brown.
Yes.
And these are the conversations that Frantz Fanon had.
Okay.
And you know how he died?
No.
They killed him after a conference in America and the CIA. And then they said that he died of pneumonia. Yes. Because he went to the conference and he talked about these things.
Yeah.
So last year, December 12th, I was in Berlin to speak at a conference organized by pink people.
Yeah.
So I got there and then the translator said, don't you have another topic to talk? We can't translate it, it's even long. I said, no, I'm talking about the color of my skin, so let's discuss it here.
Yeah.
So after the conference, they tried to give me food to eat. I told them no.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I was reading a lot of Frantz Fanon. So I say, okay, this guy died after a conference. Me, I don't want to die after a conference. So I think that's why you need to read Frantz Fanon and also read to the children. Yeah.
I must read it to the children?
Yes.
At what age? Or can I start
From
6 years.
5 years.
Okay.
Yes, please. It will help a lot of young people.
Yeah.
So you avoiding Frantz Fanon, children will also avoid
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, so it's either we face it right now because he was from Martinique. He was part of the French military.
Yeah.
And they didn't like him because of his ideas.
Yes.
He wanted to liberate Africans.
Yes.
From saying, this is our skin.
Yes.
So he was angry with Africans who wanted to be Europeans. And those Africans who wanted to be Europeans helped kill him.
One of the academics I met, he wrote a book, Becoming Men, Malusi.
Yeah, I have the book.
You've got the book, yes. So I did a podcast with him at the bookshop. And he quoted Fanon because...
And then he got scared.
Not so much. I actually that piece he embraced because he spoke about how men, especially brown or black men, brown, they go to work and they come back. So at work they have to wear this mask of I have it together.
Yes.
And then at home, that's why he was explaining even the violence to say they have to hold it together in a corporate space, and they get home. There's this different persona of somebody who's actually very angry because of how his dignity is stolen. And that made me interested because I thought of my dad, and I thought of maybe some of the stuff I didn't understand about him.
Why he was angry.
This was it. So, and that's why I thought, okay, I have to read Fanon because he said that's a Fanonian principle as well. So, okay.
You have to.
I hear.
I think every African child deserves to read Frantz Fanon.
Sure.
So, what are your plans for the bookstore? Are the things that you are?
To grow it. I'd like to grow it, ideally in places where, because here you're gonna open your bookshop also. So Joburg has already got access to a lot of these things. I'm from Limpopo, so I'd like to have a space like that in Limpopo. Ideally have another space like that in the Northern Cape where my husband is from. Maybe partner with like universities, because then there's the University of the North, and they just opened the Sol Plaatje University in
the what?
Sol Plaatje, Sol Plaatje, yes. Also South African, one of the South African grades. I think the anthem was written by him. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Nkosi Sikelel piece comes from him. So ideally grow it that big, but right now we just want to solidify our processes and get like a manuscript of how, if we open this somewhere else, this is how it must look like.
Like a chain.
Like a chain, ideally, but not too big.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the passion you have for selling books. People don't understand. So they're asking me, why are you selling books? Because everybody. And then I met somebody who told me that he can't read.
Why?
Exactly. So.
And I've heard that a lot also a few times.
And then he was shocked when somebody told me, he asked someone, how many days will it take you to read a book? And he says, this person says, a whole 24 hours.
Yeah.
And he was shocked. Like he didn't understand it at all. So people like that, what would you tell them?
Sure. Especially if they have children, I think that's a danger, like what you just told me. Because you can't tell children to read if you're not reading.
Exactly.
They have to see you doing it. So I'm conscious about what, and even if I say I'm reading on my phone, they don't get that. They think I'm just lying, I'm on social media. So we put devices away and we read.
Wow.
So for a single person, I just think you're missing out. There's so much more. A TV gives you superficial. Reading just literally takes you there.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Thank
lovely.
you. We come to the end of the Onyeka Nwelue show. Keep reading.